Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside the former state of Ethiopia. So, as we continue our coverage of the ongoing civil war that is taking place, right now we are starting to see what is becoming a unprecedented success by the Oromo Liberation Army. And not just battlefield successes, obviously we're seeing that as well, but we're also starting to see, and this is even more important, the movement of the hearts and minds of Oromia towards the OLA. Now look, the Abiy loyalist forces have done themselves no help in that regard in terms of some of the indiscriminate bombing campaigns that have taken place as the OLA sweeps through Western Oromia. And as you can see here on the map, the areas in yellow are now under the control of the Oromo Liberation Army. We are seeing, in some cases, larger elements of the Abiy loyalist forces that are engaged by smaller elements of the Oromo Liberation Army, either capitulating, surrendering, or fleeing the battlefield. In areas such as Kachais, as I talked about before, a battalion-sized element of the Abiy loyalist forces were attacked by a reinforced company-sized element of the OLA, of roughly between 100 and 200 OLA fighters, defeated a larger force between 400 and 500 regime loyalist forces in the town of Kachais. We are continuing to see not just the control of territory, but the actual control of cities and towns starting to take place. If you look here on our map, again, the yellow is areas controlled by the OLA. The red controlled by Abiy loyalist forces. More importantly, we're starting to see a fracture inside of the former Ethiopian National Defense Forces. That fracture is occurring along ethnic lines, Oromo and Amhara. We are starting to see serious issues between Oromo and Amharan areas, both in the Amhara region and in northwestern Oromia as well. We are continuing to see the Abiy regime relying on Amharan regional forces, Fano, to be used where the Abiy loyalist forces, the regular former ENDF units, have fractured or were refusing to enter Western Oromia. They are now having to resort to the use of these irregular militia formations to be used as military formations in an attempt to retake some of these areas. And it's not going well. It is further causing a divide that is taking place and continuing to fracture the former state of Ethiopia. It'll be very interesting to see as this continues to develop, as things continue to deteriorate, as more and more Oromos join the Oromo Liberation Army. Whereas at one point there were hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands, and then possibly forward-facing hundreds of thousands of OLA fighters. And again, a lot of this is because of the breakdown that is happening within the Prosperity Party, the relationship between the Prosperity Party and the Oromia region. Again, we're seeing Oromia regional forces switching sides, joining the OLA. The reports that we have is that the central government, the Abiy regime government, can no longer count on the Oromia regional forces. to operate in Oromia. Furthermore, they're having more and more issues with their regular army formations that's taking place as well. Some units don't want to enter Western Oromia. There are splits along ethnic lines. It is really a nasty situation, especially for the Abiy loyalist forces. The OLA right now is controlling the clock. They are able to pick and choose targets at their leisure, and they are doing that. Again, areas in yellow, OLA, areas in red, Abiy Ahmed loyalist forces. And remember, if you go back to some previous videos, this has changed rather significantly. The government had control at one point, if we look just a few months ago, had tentative control over some of these areas in yellow. They have lost complete control in many of these areas now. The recent operations by the OLA to the north of Addis Ababa, and especially some operations that have occurred here near the main airbase, southeast of Addis Ababa as well, is obviously causing concern for Abiy loyalist forces. Then you have the issue in Tigray, which is by far from resolved. And is it possible that the Tigrayan Defense Forces could take advantage of what's happening further to the south? Again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces still control large parts of the Tigray region. They have not demobilized. They have moved certain elements of their forces to certain areas away from the front lines, but they have not demobilized. They have not handed over their weapons. Very important. Especially as things continue to unravel further to the south, and we see this continued breakdown inside the former state of Ethiopia. We will continue our coverage. We will bring you more content as soon as we get more information about what is going on the ground. Very fluid situation right now. I don't even think the Abiy loyalist government truly understands how tenuous the situation is right now in Western Oromia. So as soon as we get more information, and again we will absolutely report it. Thank you for joining us today. More to come. Have a good day.